my students here. I'm going to record the session for the students that come later on in the day, but I'll have the conversation with you. They can all see you on the projector screen. Okay. So I'm facing them, they're facing me, and the screen is up behind me so they can all see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So there's a little bit of static that pops in and out. I don't know if you heard that, but just a heads up. But the image is clear. I think we're good to go. So I'm really thrilled to have you, and I'll let you introduce yourself and take us on the journey.
Okay. Well, you did give me a few questions to answer. First and good most to everyone, be thankful and appreciative that you woke up this morning. There's a lot going on in the world, you know, and to really think about trying to start a business, that in itself is another big burden. You know, just going through the day-to-day issues of what we all face with in this society at this moment in time is mind-breaking, solely because of the fact I'm living through it. Right now, you're living in some serious times, and history is the opportunity for you to make a difference in. You know, you can change what is transpiring for the betterment of not only the well-being of yourself, but for the future. Because that's what a business is. It's changing things based on you being able to see there's a problem in a specific area, and you're trying to figure out not only multiple solutions, but you found the best solutions. And when you start a business, it's always based on a conversation you've had with a friend, no matter what. No matter who it may be, you may be sitting down, having a simple conversation, and from that conversation alone, it can ensue into, well, you know something? I believe we could change that, whatever that may be regarding a particular problem in a particular area. For instance, the way I've gotten involved in business, I think most people are involved in business since they childhood, since they was a kid. And usually that's based on right now, everyone in the classroom knows where someone has a specific resource that other people may not know about. And here it is, you sharing information is a part of you learning that this particular area or this particular establishment have certain resources. So when you come up with an idea, you're about to give someone and provide someone with a source. So when you think about putting a business together, like myself, I had to figure out who my target audience is. And once I figure out who my target audience is, I had to do surveys first, just to learn to see if this product or if this services would work. They call that a proof of concept. Prove that this can actually work. And if you could prove that, then you may have something going on. But you always got to have a team to build a business. When I got started in my entrepreneur journey, I would say I had to be 10 years old. I was selling newspapers. And one of the things about selling newspaper is you always up in front of the person. So you got to know how to recognize your audience, how to communicate, how to provide that service and need in which they're looking for. So if you don't have good discipline, if you're not able to be a good listener, it's going to be hard for you to understand what's the best way to serve this customer. And a lot of times people don't sit down to strategize specifically how to, reach your customer as well. Ideally you can have a service, but we all know you've seen your parents travel 10 or 15 miles to go to a specific store. But in order for her to learn that this particular store has everything they need, she had to go through finding that information out, being in a certain place at a certain time, and seeing possibly billboards or posters. So throughout my journey in business, that's the first thing I had to learn was how to be able to identify not only my audience, not only specifically finding out if this idea will work, but also most importantly is if I can make some money, because that's what business is about, making money. I started off, unfortunately, the quickest way was doing illegal activity, bartering. I had something that someone else didn't have, and I knew they wanted it. And when I found out for the amount of the investment, how much I could get back in my return, it became more easier to find something that could give me immediate self-gratification, even if it didn't have no value. And in business, you always want to present value, okay? Because ideally, that particular content, no matter what it is, people are going to want it, and they're going to find a way to be able to get it. And whenever you have a product that's in high demand, you can set the price. You determine how the market going to fluctuate if you don't have multiple competitors. Each of you all have a different way of what kind of business you want to open up. Only you, right, are going to be able to research, organize, structure in order to execute your business plan. And I've learned in business, through struggling in business, without discipline and a clear concept, step by step, what it's going to take for you to put a business together, it will be a very difficult task. Just like dealing with what's going on in the world. You still got to apply yourself, but you have to be able to look at during the time of you growing up right now, you in high school, and here it is, you're in a position to start a business. You got schoolwork, you want to start a business, you got a personal life, right? And then you got hobbies. You're going to have to learn how to manage so many different things that if you don't have discipline, your business is never going to get off the ground, no matter what. And you got to have an agenda every day.
Uh-oh.
I'm at a standstill. My internet went out, excuse me.
Yeah, okay. I was texting you.
So I want you young men and women to understand there's so many different things that you have to first start with in business. And without organization or structure, then you won't be able to develop your business plan clearly. You need mentorship, right? You're going to read a lot of books. You're going to watch a lot of videos, but at some point you have to get out there to make sure and see if this is going to work. So you're going to have a little fear bugs. That's how it's been in my journey. And a lot of things that you'll find yourself doing, you won't even be able to do it alone. You can't do a business alone. One man, one woman can't build an island. But what you can do is structure. Develop your business model based on your idea. Outline specifically what you're trying to do, how you're trying to do it, and specifically target an audience. Whoever that audience may be, but know what that income bracket that they bring. I think one of the questions Vanita wanted me all asked me to address to you all was specifically leadership and collaboration. In business, what I've learned is you can be a part of a bunch of organizations in order to see where leadership comes from, whether it's your local chamber of commerce. So if you're in business, you definitely want to be affiliated with an organization that has funnels, and these funnels are basically hubs for big corporations that provide all the material, resources, and needs. And if you have a retail business, you have to become a part of Chamber of Commerce, because if you aren't familiar with various presidents and CEOs of manufacturing companies, distribution companies, then you're just a local mom and pop. But if you're looking to scale your business where you're selling like you find through shipyards, cargoes, then you definitely have to be a part of an organization that provides these type of services. I don't know what everyone's idea of a business is, but for me, when you talk about leadership and collaboration, this is one of the first things I had to learn in business, starting the Close the Deal show. I had to learn ethics because ideally I had to know who specifically I was targeting, what I was offering them, what I was getting in return, and most importantly, right, I was providing some form of value to that specific audience. And everybody that I reached out to and continue to reach out to and do business with, I can't look good if they don't have value, no matter what the circumstances is. And all I am specifically is, some would say, a marketing professional connector in that term. What I do is I find people of value and I find people who need that value and bring them together and get a finder's fee or a referrals fee, no more than that. And at the same token, show the people that this person has value, simple as we have 3 value principles that we live here by on the Close the Deal Show network. And that is commitment to integrity. What is commitment to integrity? Is when someone not only aligns with your values, but if they were put in a situation, they would not go against their values when no one is looking. Okay. Our second value principle is education through collaboration. That's what you're doing in business. You're educating the public on a service that you have, and they're finding a way to collaborate with you, whether they have to go 5, 10, 20 miles just to get your services, but you're making it available for them. And then you have trust with authenticity. You want to do business with people that you can honestly trust and grow with. And a lot of times people don't realize there's rules to business, whether you're putting an NDA together, which is a non-disclosure agreement, something that you and someone else can have a discussion about. And in that discussion, you're asking them to make sure that they do not share this information with anyone else, because ideally they want to put it into effect, possibly with them or possibly not with them, but to reinsure they don't take that idea from them and act on them themselves in order to gain a profit. That's why they have them sign a non-disclosure agreement. And in the situation where each of you all have a different business idea, but when you do business with someone, authentically, that's how you want to display the truth of what you're offering. And once you do that, you expect that person to honor that. And if they don't honor that, you lost all trust. And that's a value you have to keep and reassure yourself with. It's very important, is because when we when we just communicate, one of you are friends in the classroom right now, and some of you all can honestly say, I trust so-and-so. Them the type of people you want to do business with and grow with and further your career and in life yourself. So for business, to me, as well as being an entrepreneur and the opportunity that you all have, first you got to figure out, when you do start this business, and I believe this wholeheartedly, how is it going to help the community? What role that your business is about to offer, how is it going to help the community as a whole? When you sit back at home and you think of so many different type of video games that are out there, and you can make one better because of this idea, ask yourself, is this video game going to enhance someone's, growth and understanding not so much what's going on in the world, but what's going on within them? Or is this just a form of entertainment? But are you going to explain that in a disclaimer? This is just mere entertainment, but don't take this so hard seriously and still continue on making a difference. Because see, when I developed the Close the Deal show, it's to educate the public on business ideas, tips, and strategies. Our target audience is you, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and local small business owners with specifically a revenue under $2 million. If you are able to reach $2 million in liquid and you can maintain that for 5 years, you not only have a set system, right? But you have maybe, for instance, a core of people, maybe 2,000 or 500, right? Where you have a full commitment in succeeding. How so? If one of you all are good salespeople, and if you can come in contact with 500 people and you're able to acquire $2,000 from them, you got $1 million. You got $1 million just that quick. So one of the things that I do on the Close the Deal show is find the experts to give it to you in layman terms, the simplest way on knowing that you must know numbers in business. If you don't know how you're going to develop money in business, right? You don't have a business. You got an idea, but you don't have a business. And one of the things that's the key to starting a business is, how is it going to make money? And on my entrepreneur journey, I didn't know that. I didn't know how to make money off the Close the Deal show. I started the Close the Deal show at a public access facility. It wasn't until I had so many business professionals wanting to do the show more than once, constantly supporting the show and putting their information out there through the show. And that information goes back to what I had told you. It has to be a value. How what you offer is going to benefit this individual, specifically this person. And if you don't figure that out, it's going to be very difficult. That's why they have what is called a SWOT analysis, being able to identify your strengths, your weaknesses, your threats, and your opportunities. So once I did maybe 50 shows, I realized I had something of value. I got lots of response from the internet, from news people, from people walking down the street, because the show is being shown in San Francisco on cable Comcast. It wasn't until I sat in a boardroom on a meeting in Los Angeles and an individual was explaining to another individual how to make sure that when he is developing a business relationship with someone, to make sure they're under an NDA. And in that NDA, you can set the terms that if I refer someone to you, I get 20% of a deal being closed. That's when I realized this is how I monetize the Close the Deal network. See, the show is that's what it is. It's a show. It's to educate you on certain dynamics in business from different business professionals for you to understand how to broaden your horizon and how you want to start your business in the direction you can take yourself. And when I realized that if I create a ecosystem of entrepreneurs, I have a movement. And from that movement, I create a membership. Would you like to be affiliated or associated with the Close the Deal Network.com? See, the network is just no different from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all these social media platforms, but it caters only to specifically entrepreneurs, small businesses locally, and nonprofits with a revenue under $2 million. So if you have a revenue in liquid in $2 million, you don't need our platform. You don't need to be affiliated unless you wanted to recruit people out of our pool. And this is how I was able to realize this is how I make money. So when I'm dealing with a business professional and I'm sharing the level of knowledge in the services that I could provide through connecting them through a specific audience that they're trying to reach, if they don't reassure me how I will be compensated by signing my NDA, because anybody that I share, refer, or tell them about, if they acted on his own, I lost my money, I don't get paid. How my bills gonna get paid? No deal is closed. So with you all, this is the exact format that you have to approach your business with, by understanding, first of all, okay, I got a good idea. One of you all may want to start washing dogs, right? How much you going to charge, to clean a dog, to groom a dog, you know? How much is it going to cost you product wise? What is your MVP, your minimum valuable product? How much does it cost for me to clean up this dog, the location that I'm using, the material I'm going to need? When I can add that up, your cost of goods in comparison to, how many customers I'm able to do in so many hours overall to who my competitors are, figuring that out as well. And how am I reaching my specific audience? It's going to determine how much money you can actually make within a time frame. Because remember, even in a smaller business, time is money. No matter what the circumstances are, time is money. And if you don't figure out how money is going to be made in your business, once again, you don't have a business. You got to know how you're going to make money. That's the key, no matter what it is. Whether you teaching it, whether you putting it in the ebook, it's very simple. If that's probably one of the easiest ways to make money, is to come up with 3 principal terms and explain it to someone and put it on the ebook, because you could sell them for 99 cents, $1, and you can sell them all over the world and people will buy it. Why? Because you're identifying a specific audience who needs this. So you definitely got to have a good digital marketing person on your team if you do anything online, if you created an e-commerce type business. That's the key, just mastering that alone. Also, there's so many resources out here, and you can fully take advantage of so many opportunities. I had the opportunity, I don't know if you gentlemen and ladies have ever reached Golden Gate University in San Francisco. When I mean by reach, I mean you could continue on multiple entrepreneurship programs. Just this program alone, there are others out there where you learn how to pitch, where you learn how to be in front of an audience of 500 people with media present to give you the exposure to be able to overcome any fears and sell yourself. So everyone approaching business is going to be different, because they say in the first 5 years, all businesses is likely to fall or fail. People give up. So don't get discouraged when you start your business and things don't seem to go the way they want. You have to be able to put a plan together to outline. In my journey alone, it's occurred that way. It's been many a times I said, man, I don't know if I can do this. I had the mindset where I don't know if I can do this. And then something would happen where I either meet someone or I'll just be listening to some music and a reflection to come on me to where now I'm like, wow, I didn't look at it from this perspective. And I'll just play back my day to figure out what I can do different. How can I approach this different? So never feel like you can't go ask someone for some advice, as well as pay someone. You have coaches in certain fields in business. Everyone has a simple way of doing business. The only thing is they're trying to figure that out. And when you have someone who knows more knowledge than you in business and you're trying to work a 9 to 5, you know, some of you all parents is the exact same way. They got to raise you, they work a 9 to 5, and they also trying to have their own personal life. So in business, you got to be able to balance that out. If you don't know how to manage that, right, you won't have a business because you don't know how to devote so much time to the business in order for the business to be successful. See, it's like me speaking about one particular thing, and before you know it, I'm on something else. That's how your business is going to operate. Before you know it, you're going to be doing so many different things that by the time you come back to home base, right, you're trying to figure out how did I get here and there that quick without even realizing it. But I have to be around the people to help me learn quickly. So you got to catch on quickly in business, or you won't succeed. That's why some businesses take off and some businesses fail. And I only specifically deal with the businesses that are just there. Why? You only got $2 million. You take off after $2 million, you already left me and everybody else behind. If you look at the numbers statistically, the average business in America, and it's over probably 100 million businesses, just in the Bay Area, there's over 88,000 small local businesses, and they're not above revenue.
We lost the sound. No.
I apologize for the internet
There we
in
go.
this area.
No problem. No apologies necessary. We're all doing our best in this environment. We wish you could be here in person, but we're so grateful to have you virtual. So you're good.
Definitely. Is there any specific question someone wants to ask me before I answer the next question?
I would love to have someone. I saw a lot of people taking notes. James is going to come over and sit in front of the station and ask questions. Come on over, please. Give James a hand. We're being so grateful. Please have a seat if you like and shoot.
Oh, hello there, Mr. McRae.
How are you, James?
Oh, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm pretty all right today. I wanted to ask, what first inspired you to take this kind of path?
Well, for me personally, I felt like I don't know if the teacher has told you a little bit about my background. For me, what inspired me was setting the example. Okay, being the precedent, being the first to do something that nobody else probably have done in the circle that I was in. And unfortunately, before you were born, I went away. And what I mean by went away, I made some bad mistakes early on in my life. And during that process, I grown from those mistakes and become the person who I am today. But when I went away, there was so many different things that I wanted to change about myself. Okay, so during that process, that opened up the door for me to be able to recognize the type of people I wanted to be associated with and the new things that I wanted in my life. So what made me pursue it is I saw that there were people in a particular group who were making money off people who were re-entering society, and the individuals in society was not aware of how they were being exploited. Just like when before you were born, there was a time period college football players could not be compensated, but they would sell out arenas in the hundreds of millions. And here it is, all they would receive is a scholarship. So the collegiate sports realized that these young men and women can make money off their talents and skills because the schools were. However, the college kids had to fight against the collegiate system in order to be compensated and not exploited. So I felt like at that moment in time, when I was involved in these organizations that were exploiting individuals' testimony, that came from the re-entry world that they wasn't really understanding how to close the deal at all. They didn't know that these people were inviting them to speak before an audience of liberals or social justice groups, because these individuals had made the transformation in their life to do good. And they came out with the pay it forward model approach. So these people saw that they knew who would donate, who would fund, and who would give contributions to organizations making a difference as a whole in their community. And these individuals were sharing their personal testimony about it's never too late to change. From that in itself, I'm behind the scenes seeing that when you go home to your fancy house and you pull up in your Range Rover, right? These individuals is going to a halfway house and all you did was give them a slice of pizza. And this is the money and funding that you receiving to keep your $1 million program going, that is based on a nonprofit in which you could write off all your personal income and household issues in your taxes, and they still at the halfway house waiting to find a Section 8 home, or they got a job but waiting to get an apartment where they paying paycheck to paycheck, but you paying a mortgage and you living in this 1.2 or $3 million home when they don't really know how to build their credit or their finances. Because once you come home, you still have to know the dynamics of how everything runs and operates. The only thing you're doing is having me come to your events that you organize to share wholeheartedly how I feel what I did was wrong. And I'm willing to show not only the world, but myself, I wasn't born like this. I wasn't brought up to go do harm or wrong to anyone through deception, manipulation, okay, or being rude verbally. However, now that I've changed, I'm still being blindsided to the reality of, at the end of the day, it's all about the dollar, no matter what. So that's how I was able to say, you know, I'm meeting all these people, but ain't closing no deals. I was able to realize this is why I wanted to start the Close the Deal show. For those that come behind me who've been through the exact same thing as me, how to network. I mean, look at it from this perspective. 2 years ago, I gave a presentation at Google on business etiquette and professional networking. You know, imagine that. You sitting on Embarcadero, okay, in the community center, and you're standing before an audience of maybe 200 people, packed house, and you're talking about how you had to come back out here, and each day that you out here, not just be a reflection of who you are morally, but be a reflection of those that come behind you to set the tone. So when those see and hear, they have something to go off of. So when they're looking for some insight, all you got to do is reflect and look at that video. Listen for the gym. Same thing you're doing in class. Same thing you do when you sit at the dinner table with your mom and your father. Okay? Or same thing you do when you sitting around people that you know that have wisdom. You sit there to listen. Okay, so for anybody that's been away for 25 years, 30 years, 15 years, and they come back out here, they coming back out here more likely with the same mindset when they went in. The only thing that can make them change to understand differently is education. And you got to want it, because you have to know how to manage what you have. That's what made me pursue my journey in becoming an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Thank you. I,
That was incredible.
I
Give them a
am-
hand, please.
I really liked your response.
Excuse me, I didn't hear that.
I really liked your response. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
so much detail.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. I really appreciate you guys' engagement. And Terrence, thank you for sharing that part of the story. I hadn't mentioned it yet because I wanted to allow you to share. And I think it's incredible, your journey that you've been on. I have so much respect for you. And also, Terrence has helped amplify my career over the past 2 years as well by becoming a part of his network and being on television and sharing my expertise to help entrepreneurs. So thank you for your partnership. We certainly would love to have you return whenever you're available, just to drop some more gems. But I'll be sharing this recording with the other students throughout the day. And I'll be sending a follow-up and also sharing a post as well. But we really enjoyed this conversation. Congratulations on your success and thank you for paying it
Thank
forward.
you. Thank you for having me. And young men and young ladies, keep this in mind. As you pursue and move forward in your life, remember various things that your parents has told you. You know what those particular things are to make you a better human being, but to make you focus and aware of what your journey in life is going to be. Now that you're going to be in pursue as an entrepreneur and you're going to take it serious and wholeheartedly, just know that it's never too late to move forward in a way in which you can succeed. The Close the Deal show motto is the movement to succeed continues. So I wish you well in your journey, and always remember 2 things about yourself that you already know. You're not a failure, and you know doing well. And anytime you fall, you know how to get up. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. One more time. All right. See you soon, Terrence. Have a great day.
Likewise.
All right. Oh my God, that was so good.